I'm finna head to sleep soon, but I had to make this video about this clown Stephen A. Smith. He thinks he called LeBron weak and whatever for the way he responded about him criticizing him as a father and talking about Bronny. Apparently, Stephen A. Smith said his comments weren't directed at Bronny; they were always directed at LeBron. But your comments weren't about basketball. Your comments were attacking him as a man, as a father figure, and you're a father yourself. So he should already know how disrespectful that is. And Stephen A. likely not gonna see this anyways. But Stephen A. Smith is soft for that. Like, he goes on these platforms and bashes all these players constantly on a consistent basis. Then he talks about LeBron. Oh, he got his son in this tough situation, this and that. He's only played 33 minutes in the league. At 33 minutes, that's not even a full game. And most of those minutes I came in garbage time. And he goes on to bash LeBron, talking about he put Bronny in this terrible situation when he's been playing in the G League. LeBron could have made the Lakers draft Bronny at 17 or whatever pick we had to get Donkey Nick, but they didn't because it would have been stupid. Bronny went 55th, and your main topic is LeBron put his son in a terrible situation. And it's like, oh, LeBron took it out of context. No, you're questioning him as a man, as a father figure. You're not talking about basketball. That's off the court. That has nothing to do with basketball. You're bringing his family, his personal life into it. So of course he's gonna be mad. It don't matter if it's the first quarter. It don't matter if it's triple overtime. You should get pressed for something like that. You don't disrespect the man and his son. He was like, LeBron said, keep my son out of this, keep him this and that. And he was like, that's not what he was saying. He was saying he was confused because his comments were directed at him. It doesn't matter. You're still disrespecting him and his son at the end of the day. Because by saying that LeBron is a bad father or saying that he put his son in a terrible situation, that's talking about both him and his son. That's why Bronny gave that look or whatever that he was talking about. Like, yeah, he's not sad. He's disappointed that he has to deal with this on a consistent basis by guys who don't actually watch the basketball. There's so much talk about the 55th overall pick, but there's no talk about the top 5 picks. I wonder why. Why isn't Zachary Ricochet getting any coverage? And he's been really solid this season. He's been a good defender. Why isn't Jalen Wills getting any coverage? Because the most important player in the draft is the 55th overall pick. It's not just Stephen A. that only talks about Bronny, but it's really annoying that people care so much about who went damn near last in the draft, but the people who went in the top 10 just aren't important for some reason. So then, when LeBron presses him in the third quarter and Stephen A. has a chance to do something, LeBron did what he should have as a father, as a man. He bitched him. And Stephen A. didn't do nothing about it. He stood there. He was shook. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to do. And then he want to go on Gilbert Arenas' podcast and call it weak and call it BS and say that he couldn't do nothing because of who he worked for. LeBron pressed you in the third quarter. You think the fans don't have a problem with that? You think J.J. Redick wasn't mad that LeBron left the timeout to press you about it? J.J. Redick, as a father, understood why LeBron did it. But as a coach and a former player, he was probably mad in the moment because he just left the timeout. Like, we know J.J. has respect for LeBron, but that's not respect for to just walk out of a timeout. So LeBron, he went, and this is further than basketball. This is why I'm making the video. That's why he left the timeout in the third quarter to press Stephen A. Smith. He was like, you got to stop this, and you've been doing it for years. I'm just now saying something about it because you didn't question me as a man and as a father now. And then Stephen A., he get on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and he talk all this trash about how he can't do this and that. But you had the chance to press him when you were there at the game. Like, you do so much talking about how, oh, I'm always at these games, this and that. But then when a player finally presses you, you don't got nothing to say about it. Like, Stephen A. Smith is a clown, and he's been doing this for years. It's not just with LeBron. He didn't hate it on other players. After Kawhi got injured in the playoffs, it was one year with the Clippers. He played 2 games. He called Kawhi one of the worst superstars ever. Are you crazy? A multiple-time Finals MVP, had multiple deep playoff runs, and because he had a bad injury that we didn't know about, only the trainers and the Clippers staff knew about, he's one of the worst superstars ever. He gets on these platforms, disrespect players, and think that it's fun, it's funny, and that it's cool, and people feed into it like it's entertaining. Like, no, bro, you're soft. Like, LeBron pressed you when you had the opportunity to do something about it. Like, you don't care. Like, you such a tough guy. Why didn't you do nothing? Oh, work for Walt Disney. But, bro, LeBron walked out of a timeout. You don't think J.J. Redick felt disrespected by that? And then if Kawhi Leonard was to say something, you probably wouldn't say anything either. Because imagine how Kawhi felt seeing, oh, he's one of the worst superstars ever by a guy named Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith averaged what, 1.5 points in college when he played basketball? Like, he doesn't praise players. All he does is critique. And I know somebody in the comments gonna be like, oh well, he praised this player in this moment. Okay, one or two good moments doesn't mean nothing. Like, you can be racist and act cool with a different race. That don't mean nothing to me. That's why I don't like Skip Bayless. Just a bunch of weirdos on ESPN. They're just spreading BS. Like, these guys aren't actually watching games. They're not actually commentating. You got guys that'll come on ESPN and say that the Nuggets are contenders when OKC isn't. What type of sense does that make? You have Kai Cenat coming on ESPN to do a GOAT debate, but you don't want to talk about the actual teams in the NBA that's doing good. That's why the Pistons don't get coverage. That's why people are trying to put Cade Cunningham in the MIP conversation, because the Pistons aren't getting coverage. Like Cade Cunningham, he's always been good. As the first overall pick, he's continued to rise. The Trailblazers been solid this season, but you know when they're going to get coverage? In 3 years when they top of the West. They're not going to get the coverage now because they're in the play-in and they're doing solid. But you got to do amazing to get any type of coverage. That's why the American stars are still more criticized than the international stars. Like, it's old. Well, the international stars are so great. How are they going to lose in the Olympics? Well, they did once again for the 8th straight Olympics. So these guys like Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, even bringing a Kai Cenat on ESPN, like, it's ridiculous and it's getting out of hand. Like, first of all, you're going to bring some guys up there, at least have them have some knowledge of the sport. And you don't even have to play pro. You don't have to play pro or play in college to know the sport. Like, there's guys that know the sport really well that didn't go pro or play. But you got to have guys who are actually sitting down and watching games. So you can tell based off the takes that certain guys make that they aren't watching games. Like, okay, Kendrick Perkins played in the league a while, but there's multiple people that I know and talk to personally that have more ball knowledge than Kendrick Perkins, who just says a bunch of BS on TV. It's not just Stephen A. Smith, but the Bronny thing is really weird. Like, you such a tough guy, but when LeBron presses you, you don't got nothing to say. You got to go on somebody else's podcast and talk trash. It's like, that's part of the problem with media now. It's a whole bunch of talking. Like, maybe Shannon Sharpe, he'll actually back up what he's saying. Like, he actually say that stuff to people's faces. But none of them other analysts, none of them actually like that. Really, aside from Shannon Sharpe, who you know that's going to get up there, talk trash on TV and actually say it in real life. Because I think Shannon Sharpe really the only one. Who else going to do it? Because it sure as hell ain't Stephen A. Smith.